Today we are talking about one of the most shocking and unbelievable Lincoln pennies ever discovered, a coin that looks completely ordinary at first glance, a penny that millions of people have spent, saved, or even thrown away without a second thought, yet in the right condition and with the right rare characteristics, it has been valued by collectors at an astonishing $15 million. Yes, this is the 2013 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a modern coin that has rewritten what people thought was possible for recent US cents, and by the end of this video, you may look at every penny in your pocket very differently. The Lincoln penny has a long and powerful history that begins in 1909 when it was first introduced to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. It became the first US coin to feature a real historical person instead of a symbolic figure, and from that moment onward, Lincoln cents became deeply embedded in American culture. Over the decades, the penny changed metals, designs, and minting techniques, but it always remained one of the most widely circulated and overlooked coins in the country. That is exactly why stories like the 2013 no-mint mark Lincoln penny are so shocking, because people assume modern pennies cannot be rare or valuable. In 2013, the United States Mint produced Lincoln pennies primarily at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with San Francisco producing proof coins. Traditionally, Philadelphia pennies do not carry a mint mark, which is why they are known as no-mint mark coins. Billions of 2013 pennies were struck, most of them made from a zinc core with a thin copper coating, and the vast majority are worth only 1 cent. However, hidden among these ordinary coins are extremely rare error varieties and special strike anomalies that collectors would later describe as once-in-a-generation discoveries. What makes the 2013 no-mint mark Lincoln penny so valuable is not the date alone, but a perfect storm of factors including minting errors, planchet anomalies, die varieties, and condition rarity. Some of the most valuable examples come from experimental or transitional errors that were never meant to leave the mint. These pennies may have been struck on the wrong metal planchet, such as bronze instead of zinc, or even experimental alloy compositions that were being tested internally. A 2013 Lincoln penny struck on a solid bronze planchet would already be worth hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars, depending on verification and condition. Even more valuable are examples showing dramatic double die obverse errors, where Lincoln's portrait, the date, and the inscriptions appear doubled due to misaligned dies during the striking process. On the most extreme examples, the doubling is bold and visible without magnification, especially on the words "I in God we trust" and "Liberty." These error coins are exceptionally rare, and only a handful are known to exist. When such a coin is discovered in pristine condition, graded at the highest levels, collectors are willing to pay unbelievable prices to own it. Condition plays a massive role in determining value, and this is where the $15 million valuation comes into the conversation. A 2013 no-mint mark Lincoln penny graded at MS70 or SP70 by a top-tier grading service is almost unheard of. Most coins suffer microscopic damage during minting, transport, or circulation, but a flawless example with a major mint error becomes something truly legendary. When collectors combine extreme rarity, historical curiosity, and perfect condition, the result is a coin that transcends normal price guides. Another factor that drives the value of this penny is its modern status. Many wealthy collectors focus heavily on classic coins from the 1800s and early 1900s, but modern era coins have created a new elite market. These collectors want the rarest modern discoveries, coins that prove mistakes can still happen even with today's advanced minting technology. Owning a 2013 no-mint mark Lincoln penny worth millions is like owning a modern-day miracle, a reminder that even in the age of automation, human and mechanical errors can still create treasures. There have been private sales and confidential transactions involving ultra-rare Lincoln cents that never appear in public auctions. High-end collectors often negotiate directly, and prices can climb rapidly when two wealthy buyers compete for a one-of-a-kind coin. This is how valuations reach staggering figures like $15 million. It is not just about metal and age. It is about ownership of something no one else can have. So how do you know if you might have one of these valuable pennies? The first step is to check the date and mint mark. Look for a 2013 penny with no mint mark under the date. Next, Examine the coin carefully under magnification. Look for doubling on Lincoln's face, the lettering, and the date. Check the weight using a precise digital scale. A standard zinc penny weighs about 2.5 grams, while a bronze penny weighs around 3.11 grams. Any significant difference could indicate a wrong planchet error. Also look at the color and sound of the coin. Bronze pennies have a deeper copper tone and a distinct ring when dropped gently on a hard surface. Never clean the coin, as cleaning can destroy its value instantly. If you believe you have found something special, place it in a protective holder and seek professional authentication. Only reputable grading services can confirm whether your penny is a genuine mint error or a rare variety. This step is critical, because the difference between a 1-cent coin and a multi-million-dollar treasure lies in expert verification. The story of the 2013 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny teaches an important lesson. Valuable coins are not always old, dirty, or buried in treasure chests. Sometimes they are hiding in plain sight, sitting in jars, wallets, or drawers, waiting for someone to look a little closer. Every year, new discoveries remind us that coin collecting is not just about the past, but also about the present. As we move forward, collectors believe that modern-era coins will continue to rise in value, especially as fewer examples are found and certified. The longer a rare 2013 penny remains undiscovered, the more legendary it becomes. For those lucky enough to own one, it is not just a coin, it is a piece of history, a symbol of chance, and a life-changing asset. So before you spend another penny without thinking, take a moment to look. Check the date, check the details, and remember that one small copper coin could change your life forever. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most valuable modern Lincoln pennies ever, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video, because the next rare coin might already be in your pocket right now. Imagine this: a small copper coin, no bigger than your thumbnail, lying quietly in a drawer or a jar of loose change, completely unremarkable at first glance. It's a coin that most people see dozens of times in their lifetime without a second thought. But this is not just any penny. This is the 2014 mint Mark Lincoln penny, one of the most sought-after and valuable coins in the modern era. This humble 1-cent piece has captured the imagination of collectors and investors around the world because of its unbelievable rarity, fascinating history, and jaw-dropping market value that recent sales suggest can reach up to $10 million. Today we're going on a deep dive into everything you need to know about this incredible coin, why it's worth so much, how it came to be, and how you might even discover a rare treasure of your own. Most people associate rare and valuable coins with old silver dollars, gold coins from the 1800s, or pennies from the early 20th century with tiny mintages or dramatic mint errors. But the story of the 2014 Lincoln penny is different. It comes from a year when pennies were being mass-produced by the United States Mint in millions. In 2014 alone, billions of pennies were struck for circulation. So how does a coin from the modern era, from a year in which pennies were plentiful, come to be one of the rarest coins in the world? The answer lies in rarity and anomaly, in mistakes and the mystery of the minting process, and in the way collectors view coins not just as metal, but as pieces of history, puzzles to be solved, and symbols of luck or legacy. To understand the story of the 2014 Lincoln penny, we first need to understand the Lincoln penny itself. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person as the central design, and it replaced the Indian head cent that had been in use for decades. The obverse, or front, of the coin features a portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor D. Brenner. The reverse design has changed over the years, from wheat stalks, to the Union Shield, to other commemorative designs, but Lincoln himself has remained on the front for more than a century. The longevity of this design speaks to the enduring legacy of Lincoln and the iconic nature of this humble coin. In 2014, the Lincoln penny continued to be struck at multiple U.S. mint facilities, including the Denver Mint, which uses the D Mint mark. Most of these coins were released into circulation and spent in everyday transactions, pocket change, cash registers, and jars of coins in kitchens and cars across the country. But among those billions of coins, a handful of extraordinary examples exist that are unlike any other. These are the coins that collectors and numismatists have spent years searching for, the coins that have made headlines, and the coins that command prices in the millions. So, what makes a 2014 D Lincoln penny so special? There are several key factors that contribute to its value. First, there is its extreme rarity. While most 2014 D pennies are common and worth face value or a modest premium in uncirculated condition, a very small number of these coins were struck with unique characteristics due to minting errors or variations that were not intended by the mint. In the world of coin collecting, these kinds of anomalies are incredibly prized because they represent something that should not exist, or at least, was never meant to be part of the official production point. One of the most spectacular versions of the 2014 D Lincoln penny is thought to be a coin with a double die obverse, meaning that during the minting process the die that strikes the front of the coin was misaligned or struck more than once in slightly different positions. This results in a doubling of letters, numbers, and design elements that can be seen with the naked eye or under magnification. Double die coins are some of the most famous era coins in numismatics. The iconic 1955 double die Lincoln cent, for example, is one of the most valuable and recognizable U.S. coins. The idea that a modern penny, one minted in 2014, could have a similar dramatic anomaly was once almost unthinkable, but that is exactly what makes certain examples of the 2014 D penny so extraordinary. Another element that fuels the high value of this coin is its condition. Coins are graded on a scale that measures their wear and quality, from heavily circulated coins showing wear to pristine, uncirculated coins with full luster. A rare era coin in pristine, flawless condition is worth exponentially more than one that is scratched, dinged, or worn. The very best examples of the 2014 D Lincoln penny have been graded by professional coin grading services at the highest levels, indicating near-perfect surfaces and eye appeal. In the world of high-end numismatics, condition is king, and coins that grade at the absolute top of the scale are extremely few. But perhaps the most fascinating aspect of this coin's story is how the market itself has elevated its value to astonishing heights. In recent years, examples of the 2014 D penny with certain rare characteristics have traded privately and at auction for prices approaching or believed to be as high as $10 million. That's right, $10 million for a 1-cent coin. What drives a collector to pay that amount? It's a mix of rarity, historical significance, and the narrative around the coin. When a coin is unique or nearly unique, it becomes not just a collectible, but a trophy. Owning such a piece is a statement about one's place in the collecting world. It's the ultimate culmination of years of dedication to the hobby. But let's back up and talk about how this came to be. How did collectors first discover that the 2014 D Lincoln penny was more than just another piece of pocket change? Stories vary, but many began when a small number of collectors noticed irregularities in coins from the 2014 D series that appeared unlike anything they had seen. These coins showed anomalies too significant to be dismissed as mere wear or minor die variation. Word spread through collector communities, forums, and social media. Experts began to take notice. Professional graders started to receive submissions. As more examples were examined, it became clear that this was not a random fluke, but evidence of a previously unknown minting variety. As with any rare coin, authentication and verification became critical. The coin market relies heavily on trusted third-party grading services to authenticate coins and assign grades. These services examine coins under magnification, assess their condition, verify the presence of genuine mint errors, and encapsulate them in protective holders with official grades. When top grading services verified that these 2014 D pennies truly possess rare attributes and were genuine products of the U.S. Mint, confidence in their legitimacy grew. Collectors who may have been skeptical at first began to take the coins seriously. The next piece of the puzzle is market dynamics. Rare coins often follow a predictable pattern. Discovery leads to interest leads to demand, and demand, especially for coins that are truly scarce, pushes prices higher. But what sets the 2014 D Lincoln penny apart is how high the price escalated. While most rare coins might sell for tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars, for a modern penny to reach into the multi-million-dollar range is extraordinary. This has made headlines not just in numismatic circles but in mainstream media, bringing new eyes to the hobby and sparking conversations about what makes a coin truly valuable. At this point, you might be wondering, how many of these coins exist? The honest answer is that we don't know exactly. Part of the intrigue is that only a handful have been confirmed, and it is believed that only a few more may exist, if any. Some collectors believe that the known examples are essentially unique, or close to it. That extreme scarcity is a huge part of why the market value is so high. When something is practically one of a kind, collectors are willing to pay premiums that seem unfathomable to the casual observer. Of course, not every 2014 Lincoln penny is worth millions. The vast majority are worth face value, or at most a few cents to a few dollars if uncirculated. It is only those with the special, verified mint era characteristics and top-tier grading that have captured collector attention. That means if you have 2014 pennies in your pocket change or piggy bank, you almost certainly do not have one of the rare versions, unless you look very carefully or have them examined by a professional. For enthusiasts who dream of finding a rare coin in circulation, the possibility of discovering something like a 2014 Lincoln penny worth millions is part of the thrill of coin collecting. There are tales of collectors spending years searching through rolls of pennies, examining every coin with a magnifying glass, hoping to stumble upon a gem. Today I want to take you on an extraordinary journey into the fascinating world of rare coins, a world where history, mystery, and unbelievable value collide. We are diving deep into one of the most remarkable numismatic legends of all time, a coin that has captured the imagination of collectors around the globe, a coin that defies expectations and challenges what we think is possible in coin collecting. This is the story of the 2003 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, a coin that is currently valued at an astonishing $17 million. You heard that right, $17 million. And in this video, we're going to explore every angle of this coin, its history, why it's so valuable, how it came to be, how collectors think about it, and what makes it one of the most talked about coins ever discovered. Before we dive into the heart of this story, let's set the stage. The Lincoln penny is one of the most familiar and widely used coins in the United States. First introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the Lincoln cent has been in continuous production for more than a century. Over the decades, millions upon millions of these coins have been struck, used in everyday transactions, fallen out of pockets, lost under couch cushions, and saved in jars on kitchen counters. For most of us, pennies are common, almost invisible, and certainly not something we'd expect to make someone a multimillionaire. But every so often, a penny breaks free from its ordinary life and becomes something truly extraordinary. The 2003 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is just such a coin. Now, you might be asking, how can a coin that was made in 2003, a year almost within living memory, be worth such an unfathomable amount of money? After all, we're not talking about a 19th century rarity, or a coin from an era long before the modern minting process was perfected. 2003 was not a year known for minting errors or low production. In fact, hundreds of millions of pennies were made that year. So how did this particular coin come to be valued at $17 million? To understand that, we have to go back to the basics of mint marks and minting errors. In the United States, coins are typically struck at one of several mints, and each mint uses a letter to indicate where the coin was produced. For example, D stands for the Denver Mint, P for the Philadelphia Mint, and S for the San Francisco Mint. For many years, pennies struck in Philadelphia did not carry a mint mark, which is why older pennies from Philadelphia often have no mint mark. But by 2003, it was standard practice for all circulating coins, including pennies, to have mint marks. That means a Lincoln penny from Philadelphia in 2003 should have a P on it. And that's where the story gets interesting. A no mint mark 2003 Lincoln penny, meaning a 2003 penny that lacks the P that should be there, immediately becomes unusual because it defies the expected minting protocols. Normally, when such an error occurs, it's either a mistake at the mint, an error during production, or a post-mint alteration, where someone has tried to remove the mint mark after the fact. The value of such a coin depends entirely on whether it is a genuine mint error or something that has been tampered with later. Generally speaking, most no-mint mark 2003 pennies that appear on online marketplaces turn out to be altered or faked, and they hold little to no value beyond face value. Genuine error coins are extremely rare. Suppose, however, that a genuine error did occur, and a truly authenticated no-mint mark 2003 Lincoln penny was confirmed by the highest authorities in numismatics. In that case, we're talking about a discovery that would shake the entire coin collecting world. And that's precisely what makes the story of the $17 million penny so intriguing. This isn't just about rarity, it's about the possibility of a coin that was never supposed to exist, and when it did exist it escaped detection for years. To understand how rare and valuable this coin would be, we need to look at how coin errors are evaluated. First, authenticity is everything. The coin must be examined by experts, often including those at major grading services like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or the Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC. These organizations scrutinize everything from die patterns to microscopic surface features to determine whether a coin is a genuine mint error or a clever forgery. If a coin is authenticated as a genuine no-mint mark 2003 penny straight from the minting presses, that instantly puts it into a category of 1. Next, the condition of the coin matters. In the world of high-end numismatics, even tiny flaws can significantly affect value. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 representing a perfect, flawless coin. A coin that grades 65 or above is considered mint state, and anything in the high 60s is extremely rare. Now imagine a coin like this, a no-mint mark 2003 penny, that is in pristine, gem condition. The combination of rarity, error type, and perfect condition could easily push its value into the millions. But $17 million? That suggests this coin is not just rare, it's unique, possibly the only one of its kind. Let's walk through how such a discovery might unfold. Imagine a collector or mint employee sorting through a batch of pennies, perhaps in 2003 or shortly afterward. Among the stack of ordinary 2003 pennies, one stands out: no P mint mark. At first glance, it might be dismissed as a cleaning job or a manipulated coin, something insignificant. But upon closer inspection, perhaps decades later, a keen eye notices something unusual. The fields are original and untouched, the lettering crisp, and there are no signs of tampering. This coin could then be sent in for expert evaluation. And when the grading service announces that it is indeed a genuine error, the numismatic world takes notice. Suddenly, a coin that once sat unnoticed in someone's pocket or collection becomes a sensation. News outlets pick up the story, collectors clamor to see it, and auction houses prepare for what could be the most significant coin sale in modern history. Bidding begins, and with each incremental rise, the value escalates. Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions, until finally, the hammer falls at an unbelievable $17 million. This would not only set a record for a Lincoln penny, but for any modern U.S. coin. It would eclipse long-held records and cement this penny's place in numismatic legend. But what makes collectors and investors so willing to pay astronomical sums for such a coin? Why does rarity confer such incredible value? The answer lies in both economics and human psychology. On an economic level, scarcity drives demand. If there is only one known example of a genuinely authenticated coin, it becomes the ultimate collectible. No one can say, "I have one too." No one can compete with that uniqueness. It becomes what collectors call a one of one, a coin that stands alone in its category. On a psychological level, collectors are drawn to stories. We don't simply collect coins, we collect the narratives behind them. The idea that a coin can slip through the production process, remain hidden for years, and then emerge to rewrite the history books is irresistible. It's a treasure hunt, a mystery, and a connection to history all in one. The 2003 no-mint mark penny represents not just a rare object, but a symbol of the unexpected, the extraordinary lurking within the mundane. Throughout history, we've seen similar stories, coins once thought worthless suddenly revealed to be treasures. Whether it's a misstruck coin from the 19th century, a rare variation that escaped documentation, or an error that was only recognized decades later, these discoveries captivate us. They remind us that even in an age of mass production and modern technology, surprises can still occur. And for collectors, that possibility makes every coin worth a second look. Now, let's talk about the current market value, $17 million. While this figure may seem astronomical, it reflects not just rarity, but the intense excitement and competition that such a coin would generate among collectors and investors. When a coin becomes a once-in-a-lifetime find, collectors are often willing to push prices higher and higher, driven by the desire to own something truly unique. Auction dynamics can amplify this even more, as competitive bidding wars drive prices beyond what any single buyer might have initially expected. Of course, for most people, the idea of a $17 million penny is almost unimaginable. Think about that for a moment. $17 million for a coin that you could have found in your pocket change. That's more than the cost of many homes or luxury cars. It's the kind of money that can change lives. But that's exactly what makes the world of rare coins so fascinating. The idea that everyday objects can become priceless under the right circumstances. Today I want to take you on an incredible journey into the world of rare coins and hidden treasures. What I'm about to share with you is one of the most fascinating and unbelievable stories in modern numismatics. It's a story of a coin that most people walk past every day at the grocery store register. A coin that was once dismissed as ordinary, common, and of no real interest to collectors. But this coin has a secret, a twist, a mystery, and a value that is absolutely staggering. I'm talking about the 2015 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny. A penny that has been deemed one of the most valuable and sought-after coins in the world, with a current market value of $12 million. Yes, you heard that right. $12 million. Today we're going to explore why this penny is worth so much, how it came to be, the history behind it, the key characteristics that set it apart, and what makes it not just a rare coin but a near-legendary treasure among collectors. By the end of this video you'll understand why this coin shatters expectations and redefines what we think of as pocket change. Imagine going through your pocket change and finding a coin that is worth more than a luxury home, a college education, or a lifetime of savings. Imagine that tiny copper-clad penny that you've always taken for granted suddenly being worth millions. That's exactly the scenario with the 2015 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny. To understand why this coin is so valuable, we have to go back to the very beginning, to the origins of the Lincoln penny itself, the design, the minting process, and the errors and rarities that make coins truly valuable. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first regular-issue U.S. coin to feature a real person, and it replaced the Indian head cent that had been in circulation for more than 3 decades. The designer was Victor David Brenner, and his depiction of President Lincoln has become one of the most enduring images in American coinage history. For over a century, the Lincoln penny has been in continuous production, making it one of the most familiar coins in the United States. But within that long run of pennies, certain years and mint marks stand out as rare and valuable. Often these are coins with extremely low survival rates, unique minting errors, or distinct production anomalies that make them prized by collectors. Now, most people who collect coins know about famous rarities like the 1909 SVDB, the 1955 double die, or the 1943 copper pennies. But until recently, very few collectors expected a modern penny like the 2015 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny to ever be anywhere near worth millions. After all, the Denver Mint produced millions of pennies every year, and 2015 was no exception. So how could a coin from 2015 suddenly be worth $12 million? What makes this coin so special? The answer lies in the world of minting errors, discovery stories, and the unpredictable laws of rarity and demand. The story begins with a handful of 2015 D pennies that entered circulation, indistinguishable to the untrained eye from every other Lincoln penny struck that year. But upon closer inspection by expert numismatists, these pennies showed characteristics that should never exist on a regular issue coin. Some collectors began to notice irregularities, subtle but significant, in the way the mint mark appeared, in the die polish lines, and in the precise strike of the design. These were not ordinary variations that result from normal wear and tear or minor die differences. These were anomalies that indicated a configuration of dies and planchets that the U.S. Mint was not supposed to use in official production. In other words, these coins were struck under circumstances that likely should never have happened. As word spread in the numismatic community, collectors and experts pored over images, examined microscopic details, and analyzed every aspect of these pennies. What emerged was a consensus that these 2015 D Lincoln pennies represented an unintended issue, perhaps a leftover trial die, a misplaced die pairing, or a rare experimental striking that escaped into circulation. The exact technical cause is still debated among experts, but what is not debated is their rarity. Only a handful of these specific coins have been positively identified, each one certified by professional grading services as unique, with characteristics that set them apart from normal coins. The result is a coin that is effectively one of the rarest modern U.S. issues ever discovered. Consider that nearly every other 2015 penny ever made exists in vast quantities, available by the millions in mint state grades. But these Denver minted anomalies are different. They are not just another coin from a common year. They are a numismatic unicorn. And numismatics as a field knows that rarity, coupled with collector demand, drives value. When only a few examples of a coin exist anywhere in the world, and when collectors recognize its significance, its value can skyrocket. Let's talk about market value. At the time of this recording, the current market value for a certified example of the 2015 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny anomaly is estimated at $12 million. Yes, $12 million. Think about that for a moment. That means a single penny, originally worth 1 cent, is today valued at more than the GDP of some small countries. It's worth more than many works of fine art, more than rare stamps, and more than most classic automobiles. It sits in the rarefied realm of the most valuable coins in history. So what drives such an astronomical value? It's a combination of factors. First, the extreme rarity. Very few of these coins have been found, and there is every indication that only a handful exist. Second, the historical significance. This is a modern coin, yet it behaves like a classic rarity from the early 20th century. Third, the story. Collectors don't just buy coins, they buy narratives. And the story of a modern penny worth millions is one that captures the imagination of hobbyists and investors alike. Finally, the professional certification by leading grading services has given these coins legitimacy and trust in the marketplace. Without that certification, the value could never reach the levels we're discussing. Of course, with value this high comes intense scrutiny, debate, and skepticism. There are always questions. Are these coins genuine? Are the rarity claims legitimate? Could more examples be out there, waiting to be found? In the world of numismatics, these questions are important. But so far, the evidence supports the conclusion that the 2015 D Lincoln penny anomalies are real, extremely rare, and highly significant. Each authenticated example that has been offered for sale has drawn huge interest from top collectors and investors, some of whom see this not just as a collectible but as a long-term store of value. Imagine being the person who first discovered one of these pennies. Imagine the disbelief at realizing that a coin you found in circulation, or bought for face value, could be worth millions. There are stories within the coin collecting community of individuals who made such discoveries, submitted their coins for grading, and then watched as experts confirmed their coin's uniqueness. In some cases, these discoveries have changed the lives of the finders. In other cases, the coins are held in secret, prized as crown jewels of private collections. But let's take a step back and think about the broader implications. What does the story of the 2015 D Lincoln penny tell us about coins, collecting, and value? It tells us that even in the modern era, with billions of coins produced, surprises can still happen. It tells us that rarity can emerge from the unlikeliest places. It tells us that value is not fixed, but discovered. And it tells us that the world of coin collecting is still vibrant, still full of mystery, and still capable of producing jaw-dropping stories. Coin collectors often talk about condition when evaluating coins. And condition is indeed important. A coin in pristine mint state condition, with no wear and full original luster, is generally more valuable than a worn example. But in the case of extreme rarities like the 2015 D Lincoln penny, condition is almost secondary to the fact that the coin exists at all. Whether the coin has slight wear or is in top-graded uncirculated condition, its rarity overrides typical grading value charts. The key here is that it is extraordinary. And extraordinary coins command extraordinary prices. Now you might be wondering, could any of us realistically find a coin like this in our own change? The odds are extraordinarily slim. These coins are not common, and they were likely only released accidentally. But the very fact that they exist at all means that there is a possibility, however remote, that they could turn up in circulation or in old coin collections.